Gauteng police have arrested several suspected members of a gang that's been robbing people on their way from OR Tambo International Airport to their various destinations. The gang tails people from the airport until they can be robbed of their personal belongings. Victims have included foreign tourists on their way to hotels. The police say that acting on information, it had monitored a security vehicle contracted to work at OR Tambo International Airport, which was following a sedan from the airport traveling towards Sandton. Well, on the line we have police spokesperson Brigadier Vish Naidoo joining us for an update. A very good afternoon to you, Brigadier. What can you tell us about the latest arrests?
Very good afternoon to you, and thank you for the opportunity. Well, as you rightfully said, that our members from OR Tambo International Airport and the Johannesburg East Cluster, acting on information, they were kept observation on the security vehicle, and as they suspected that this vehicle was going to make their move on a vehicle transporting tourists, they stopped the security vehicle and discovered that one of the occupants happened to be a security manager of a company contracted to AXA working at OR Tambo International Airport, was wanted for serious crimes, including armed robbery and the unlawful possession of arms and ammunition in Limpopo. Of course, the team immediately arrested this suspect as well as the passenger in that security vehicle. And these arrests led to the subsequent arrest of 4 other suspects and the recovery of several possibly incriminating items, including luggage, passports, firearms, as well as a second vehicle that we know is linked to robberies of tourists leaving OR Tambo International Airport.
Brigadier, how big or how complicated are these syndicates of these robberies that are taking place?
You know, prior to the end of July this year, or prior to the 25th of July this year, when we implemented a new revised strategy to combat robberies that were taking place on travelers coming from OR Tambo International Airport, we have been faced with unprecedented levels of these robberies taking place, hence the implementation of this new revised strategy. We seem to have had this under control, but unfortunately, some of these crimes were still being committed. As you may have seen, there was a group of tourists that were robbed and a couple of weeks ago, and now this incident of last Thursday where there were foreign visitors to the country attending a conference were also robbed in Colette Drive in Sandton. And so we decided, that we really needed to up our game. We started to engage and mobilize our intelligence team, as well as all the other specialized investigators and so forth. And this really helped significantly in terms of detecting and leading us to these people that happen to be responsible for these crimes. And I think with the recoveries that were made, we can confidently say that we can link them to some of these crimes that have been committed.
Brigadier, I think one of the most frightening things about these the series of crimes that we see taking place at the airport have a lot to do with people who disguise themselves as official policemen and women. How can you put us at ease in terms of knowing and identifying or telling apart the real police from the so-called fake police?
This is really a very gray area for us because, the law doesn't allow for us to say that a person should not stop when being stopped by a police officer. There are certain telltale signs, like, for example, if a police officer is stopping you in a remote area, we won't generally do that. Now, at the moment we are conducting sporadic, roadblocks or stop and search operations as people exit from the airport. And then, we have other strategically sort of implemented roadblocks in other areas. We won't really necessarily stop a vehicle or have a vehicle stopped in a remote area. That is a telltale sign that you could possibly become a victim of a robbery. In a situation like that, we would advise motorists to proceed cautiously to a more sort of populated area, or to a nearest police station, or to a service station, so that, we could create a diversion for the would-be robbers. If it's a genuine police officer, of course, the police officer would approach the person that's being stopped and conduct the necessary checks and let them go if there's nothing incriminating in that case. But if we have a situation where somebody is being stopped in a remote area, that is the basic telltale sign that they could possibly become a victim of a robbery. Because now we are starting to educate our police officers. If you want to conduct these stop and search operations or these roadblocks, you have to do it in an area where it's populated with traffic and with people.
Now, Brigadier, crimes that occur at the airport or crimes that do affect tourists really do have a ripple effect as they affect our tourism industry in a big way. What could you say to put the public at ease? And more importantly, how can the public get in touch with police if they see anything suspicious or anything that they'd like to report to the police?
You are absolutely correct. I have to agree with you 100% that such incidents is really bringing our country into disrepute. Hence, I said that, before the 25th of July this year, when we had seen, the levels of these robberies reaching unprecedented levels, we decided to put in, new revised strategies. We've started to implement strategies that we haven't implemented before, whereby we engaged key stakeholders like hotels and embassies, guest houses, to get involved. And then we started roping in the different traffic departments, the Kurulili Traffic Department, JMPD, Tshwane Metro Police Department, so that we could saturate the areas with police presence, so that people do not fall victim again to these crimes. And we seem to have been making great strides in preventing these incidents from happening, apart from the one or two that we have seen in the recent past taking place. But again, now we have gone back, we sat around the drawing board to see how best we can improve on the strategy. And I think the critical thing here was for us now to go out, identify those perpetrators that are responsible, bring them to book, and at the same time, that's a reactive approach, and at the same time, improve and enhance our proactive approach, which we are doing now. Also, what we're doing is we're going on education drives to people visiting the country through these embassies, through these tourism companies, and so forth, to tell people not to carry too much of valuables, not to draw money in open places, not to exchange money openly where they can be seen and information can be communicated to the would-be robbers. So this is also helping us a great deal. Also, what we want to say is that from government and from a policing point of view, we are doing everything possible to make sure that the reputation of this country, because South Africa is a fantastic tourist destination. It has been prior 2010 World Cup, it has been post 2010 World Cup, and we want to do everything to sustain that and make sure that people that are visiting this country can do so in a way that they are and feel safe.
All right, Brigadier, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for just giving us insight into these robberies and how we, as the public, can continue keeping ourselves safe, and of course getting in touch with the police if there's any suspicious activity that we see going on in and around the airport. Thank you very much for your time.